Yeah, welcome to this video. I was trying to get a 15-minute game, but somehow it didn't start. So I pressed this 45-minute game option again and got a game instantly. It seems that there are so few people going for that you really get a game. So knight f3 played, and let's play the Dutch. I really didn't do that too often. Okay, played this quickly. Now I have two basic options. I've got more than two, but I could play the Leningrad with g6 or the Stonewall with e6. I have a bit of experience with both, but not sure what I should do now. Okay, let's play the Stonewall. I feel more confident with this setup. And he already has got the knight on f3, so some of the more threatening options involve knight h3, so this is already forfeited. Yeah, normal would be c4, c6, and then white has a choice of lines. Of course, he can also play, for example, bishop f4 now immediately. Okay, yeah, b3 is of course a normal way to prepare the bishop development. Also, bishop a3 is a possibility. This is why I play queen e7. The queen is good on e7 anyway, and this way I prevent bishop a3 for at least for one move. White can prepare this move further with a4 and then bishop a3. Okay, I think just castle, keep it simple here. c4. Yeah, now I must play c6. I could try b6, intending to play this without the move c6. Yeah, okay, let's play c6. Complete the Stonewall. Yeah, now bishop to b2 is normal. c5 is a bit uncommon. Yeah, okay, I need to play bishop c7 anyway. No other square. It's a bit uncommon to play c5, and the only idea of c5 would be to play b4, a4, b5, attacking on the queen side, and this is yeah, a bit slow. Doesn't really give white much. So one drawback of the c5 move is that I might play e5 at some point. I could play knight b2, d7 and then e5. It's difficult for him to prevent that. If he goes on knight b d7, knight e5 himself, I could take on e5, knight to d7, and then e5 and c5 is saying, so I'll win a pawn. And he cannot prevent e5. So the only question is, do I really want to play this e5 move? It's certainly not bad. This is clear. But another idea is to a general idea is if you look at the queen side, it is fairly closed and not easy to see how white will open it. He's even got the knight on d2, so you cannot easily play b4, b5 with the knight on c3 supporting this move. So one idea could be for black to simply keep the center as it is and not move anything there at all, and try to attack on the king side. I try that. I'll play bishop d7, e8 first to h5, and then knight d7, and then maybe prepare some action on the king side. Oh, this was quickly played. yeah, maybe he's preparing knight e5. Possible. Okay, after this move he can play knight e5. I have bishop h5 though. Yeah, knight e5. I'll go bishop to h5 and then knight b to d7. Okay. Yeah, maybe preparing b5. Should I play bishop h5? It's certainly not bad. Making sure that I'll get this bishop exchanged, but it's not such a bad piece anyway by now. Not sure if I need to exchange it. Okay, it's still on a good post on h5. You still need some preparation to get something going here on the queen side. Yeah, and let's complete development here. If he plays knight e5, then there's even bishop to e2 to consider. Not as an instant reply, but this is a possibility. So a3, yeah, this move really doesn't do much. I mean, a4 I would have understood. So knight e4 maybe. Certainly not bad. Centralize this piece. Yeah, the bad thing about this is he will never be able to capture on e4, as the move e3 has weakened the light square so much. This means that this knight is constant worry for him. He cannot easily get rid of this piece. Yeah, still I think white should try a4 b5, the only kind of play that he's got. But he played a3 last move, so this doesn't seem to be on his agenda. Knight to e5. Yeah, how to proceed now? Yeah, I could exchange all knights. This is normally quite okay for black in the Stonewall. I could do that, but it might lead to a very blocked position, like knight d2, queen d2, knight e5, d e5, and then he will play f4, and it's totally blocked. Yeah, but difficult to find something else. I wonder about knight e5, d e5, bishop e2. Is it maybe an idea in this way to activate the bishop? Okay, let's take here first. This is probably necessary anyway. And now bishop e2, knight takes e4, bishop takes f1 is probably just an exchange with not much compensation. It's can go knight to d6, but yeah, it can't be too threatening. So let's say bishop e2, rook to e1, knight takes d2. If he takes on d2 with the queen, I can get the bishop to c4, which is at least outside the pawn chain, and on c4 it also in connection with pawn to a6 would prevent his a4 b5 idea. It's quite annoying, this piece in the middle of white's camp, so this shouldn't be too bad. Now the other idea, bishop e2, rook e1, knight takes d2, rook takes e2. Then I can retreat the knight to c4 or to e4 back. If I go to c4, actually there's e5 hanging. I can play f4. Then I could play the move b6 maybe. Okay, let's play this. It's at least a bit of an imbalance after this. I could have taken on d2 with the knight. It's probably around equal. This looks a bit more unbalanced, this position. Or let's say if he would take on d2, like rook f2 e1, knight d2, queen d2, bishop c4, and then we have the same structure like the immediate capture, but at least I got the bishop on c4, which should be a bit irritating for him. Yeah, considering the time, it's almost the same pace as a 15-minute game, I would say. A bit slower maybe, but not much of a difference. People seem to play relatively quickly. Still, I don't want to make the 45-minute games a constant feature. It's a bit long. It can get really long, those games. But I didn't get a game in 15 minutes for quite a while, and I didn't feel much like playing blitz. Okay, knight e4. Yeah, I thought this wouldn't be sufficient, but okay, I need to take f1. No choice.
Check.
I didn't think about this at all. Interesting. Yeah, interesting move. But okay, he cannot. All right, let's consider this. Is there some point in not taking the knight? King h8. Yeah, well, I will take next move anyway, and it doesn't make much sense to delay this. I can take with the rook theoretically, but he takes f6. Yeah, I'm a piece down, right? Then yeah, I need to take with the pawn. Yeah, I need to take with the pawn, whatever. So now he will take on f6. And okay, he wants to use the long diagonal, but a simple solution would be queen d7, probably takes on f1 with the bishop probably, and then bishop to d8, picking up the f6 pawn. Yeah, this should be Should be a simple solution. I could have played rook f6 also, but I can take f6 and queen f6, rook takes f1. Okay. An alternative here would be to play e5, and then take the pawn on f6. It's not much he can do about that as well. But let's just get this pawn. I'm not sure I want to play e5. It somewhat loosens the pawn structure in the center. It's maybe easier to just get f6 and exchange the bishops on the long diagonal, and then put the queen on g7 or f6, controlling that. After that, white has no play at all, I think. He has ideas like f7 check and queen c3, but I always have bishop f6 in case of that. Yeah, knight f6 check was not really working. I played this rather quickly, not quite sure why. I mean, after bishop e2 he could have easily played rook e1, and there was not much going on. Yeah, white has very little for the exchange here. The problem is that I don't really have any big structural problems. I get this pawn. He cannot protect it in any way, and the position is fairly closed. He doesn't have any big instant ideas against my king. And I can use my rooks later. Maybe in the long run, putting some rook on d8, play d4, open up the center. Yeah, now he's spending lots of time. I hope he didn't decide to... Okay, bishop e2. I hope he, what I wanted to say is, didn't decide to simply let the clock run down. I wonder how much time I would need to wait to actually get the point. I hope not 50 minutes. Okay, I simply grabbed the pawn here. Maybe, now that I think of it, maybe some queen move and then taking was more precise. Okay, it's not a big issue. Okay, queen to g7 maybe, fighting for this long diagonal. Rook g6, he's got something like bishop h5. Yeah, but this isn't really a threat, right? I want to get the queen on the long diagonal. This would help, I think. Yeah, okay, let's go here immediately. Intending rook to just rook f7 or rook g6. With queens off, it's a simple technical issue. Now you can try queen e5, but just rook g6, rook h6. There's not much that he can do. Queen d6 in this case loses to e5. The queen is trapped. He cannot really enter my position with the queen. Yeah, the idea could be to play rook to d4. If I go rook g6 or something, that you can play rook d4. Yeah, but let's say I play rook here, rook d4, then I can play e5, and e5 is useful anyway. I went to h6 because rook d4, e5, rook h4 is not possible then. Okay, yeah, he wants to avoid the queen trade, understandably. So how to proceed from here? e5 he can take actually on f5. So I cannot do that. Yeah, what about queen to e5? Centralizing simply. Yeah, probably not bad, but e5 f4 would be something that looks reasonable. Yeah, maybe prepare this rook f8, but rook f8 he can probably play, can maybe play f4, but f4 e5 and rook e6, opening up against the e-pawn. Yeah, no, I must be fine. Really, rook f8 e5. e5 f4, yeah, open up the position. I'm trying to use all heavy pieces now. Yeah, b5, the only counterplay possible. But after the capture, I'll play e5. After capturing here on c6, I can retake with the pawn, and the rook on h6 is covering the c6 pawn, so that a move like queen a4 isn't really threatening anything. It still will take quite a while until you get any serious threat going. b5 also means that he's weakened the c5 pawn. It's also important. Okay, just rook here, intending a move like queen e7 to increase the pressure against the e3 pawn and this loose bishop on e2. Maybe, but I was just thinking about queen a4 attacking a7, but I threatened to take on f4. I mean, this is something he needs to pay attention to. Yeah, just recapture. Yeah, on a general note here about this opening, the Stonewall is quite a good opening actually for black. It's a bit underestimated sometimes. It isn't played on the very highest level simply because people at the very top don't want to settle themselves with some structural weakness from the get-go. But black has some compensation for those structural deficits, and the compensation is space. Black's got actually a space advantage, which is a rare feature in a black opening, and it also leads to a very strategical kind of game, and this can be a good choice against people who are really focused mainly on tactical play. So it's a good opening against tacticians. Okay, bishop d3, attacking f5. Yeah, I can take on f4 and open up the position. Okay, wait. I was just thought that I can take and play also queen to d4, but it's just a check. Yeah, we just place king h1 or g2, and I don't have a good continuation. Okay, yeah, I think I'll play this one. Just this simple move. It keeps my structure intact. f5 is not attacked anymore, and he has opened the b file. And well, I've got rooks. Rooks belong on open files, and I can just play rook b8 next move, intending to put the rook on b2 or the queen on b2. And well, the open file is important, and I'm the one with the two rooks. White only's got one rook. So my next move is rook b8, and then probably reroute the e6 rook to e8, and yeah, getting all this on the b file. Or rook e7 to b7 can be good as well. But first I need to occupy the b file. On rook b1 I can play just rook e to e8 covering. He's got pawn weaknesses on c5 and e3, and these are even easier to attack than my weakness on c6. Yeah, f5 is also weak, but this takes a while to attack. This is a really passive move now. Okay, so let's say rook e7 threatening rook. Yeah, okay, this is okay. Yeah, I've got time. Let's not play too quickly. Yeah, I still like rook 6 to e7 best. The idea is rook b7 to b2. So rook b7 is really a big threat entering here. And so on rook 6 to e7, we probably must consider bishop a6, but then I play queen a1 check and take on a3. With a tempo to a1, take a3 with a tempo on the bishop. So this looks even better than playing rook queen a1 immediately, which is a good move also. Queen a1 check, some move, queen a3, grabbing the pawn and attacking e3. But I'd like to do this with the tempo, so let's play this first. It's it's a good move, improving the rook. He can play queen a4, attacking the c6 pawn, but then I've got queen c3, which is really annoying, attacking everything. Pawn e3 with check and the rook on d2 and c5. So, of course, queen a1 also was fine, but this looks even more convincing, I think. Okay, now this check and taking on a3. Yeah, the Stonewall is an interesting opening, especially if you we had this move order knight f3 f5, which is of course a little bit different from d4 f5. It's especially interesting if you play the French defense, so that you can start with d4 e6 on the first move and keeping options a little bit open. The Stonewall especially gains some attractiveness if the knight h3 option is not possible anymore. So let's say d4 e6, knight f3, and then go to the Stonewall. This is quite a good move order. Yeah, in this position, yeah, I'm not sure what white should play here. King f2 maybe, but or king g2. Okay, come on. I grab this right. There's no trick. Attacking the bishop now. This was the idea of all this, that I gain the tempo now on the bishop. And if the bishop retreats somewhere, then yeah, I can take e3 simply. There's no big issue with this. I just take the pawn. Or I could play rook 7 to b7, rook e to b7, rook b2. It's also I think pretty convincing technically. He's got everything on the second rank. Yeah, this is probably easier. Taking on e3 is not bad, of course. Still getting on the second rank is probably quicker. Yeah, bishop resigns. Okay, I'll need to just briefly reply here. Said thanks for the game, basically. Yeah, this is now pretty simple. I get to b2. Knight f6 ultimately failed. It's simply not good. This exchange sacrifice, or let's say the idea connected with knight e4. I think here he should just play rook e1, something like this. And then my idea was to take on d2. After queen d2, drop to c4. On c4, the bishop is a bit better compared to h5, I thought. And it allows to block along this diagonal so that he cannot easily advance the queen side. And rook here, I thought knight c4. And now I'm attacking e5. He can protect with this. And then I was considering a move like b6, if I can play b6, play on the queen side, or b5, a5. It's very blocked, of course, but I've got good pieces. My light squared bishop is gone, and I have opportunities here to block the queen side and then switch my attention to the king side with g5. This is very often a really stupid position for bishops, because it's so blocked. Even the bishop on g2 is often simply, yeah, biting on granite on d5. It's not doing much. So this should be quite okay. I think white should probably simply after rook, after rook e1, maybe just capture with the queen, bishop c4, and then play some normal moves like bishop to d4, and maybe even bishop f1 at some point. It's really this bishop, I mean, this bishop on c4, it's technically maybe the bad bishop because pawns are on light squares, but it's outside the pawn chain, and this bishop on g2 is also really a stupid piece. So maybe he should even consider at some point to play bishop to f1. Yeah, thanks for watching another 45-minute game. I hope to get more 15-minute games in the future. Thanks.